Welcome to Blueprint Boost for Contractors, the podcast that's your go-to source for unlocking the secrets to successful marketing, gaining valuable insights, and growing your contracting business with less stress. Your host is David Brooks, and he's thrilled to be your guide on this journey. As a seasoned expert in the contracting industry, David understands the challenges you face. That's why each episode is crafted to provide you with actionable strategies and proven blueprints to boost your business to new heights.
I'd like to welcome everyone to our latest episode. Thanks for tuning in. David Brooks here, and I have another podcast guest here with me this afternoon. And I could do the introductions, but I'm going to let him introduce himself.
All right, cool. Hey, David. Hey, everybody. My name's Scott Petronio. I'm a regional contractor sales leader for Owens Corning on the roofing side of our company. Been with Owens Corning for a little over 7 years. Been in the roofing or the building materials industry for about 25 years. What I kind of started with I got in the industry for Berger Building Products. Was there for about 10 years. Berger's manufacturer of metal, drip edge, soffit, trim coil, copper, aluminum, steel products, snow guards, distributed nationally. Worked for about 10 years in sales and marketing roles. Then I went to Lamanco, so learned a little bit about roof ventilation with the good people over there. And then I went to Simonton Windows for about 6 years. And then before I came to Owens Corning. Today I'm a regional contractor sales leader. And I can talk a little bit about what that role is, but I'll kind of take a breath and at least say that's a general intro of who I am. I live in the Philadelphia area. So been in this area my whole life. So I love all parts of the country, but I do like where we live. And I know, David, I know you're from here, so I think you can hopefully appreciate that. Go Birds.
Yes, go Birds. Yes, definitely some really great food here over in Philadelphia.
Exactly, for sure.
Well, thanks, Scott, for joining. But yes, I would love to be able to get into that, your day-to-day Evid workflow, and just explain a little bit about your job and your career.
Okay, so when I first came to Owens Corning, I was an area sales manager, which means we're big on teams. So I was one of a 3-person team in the greater Philadelphia area, in the tri-state area, and trying to work on building that market. About 3 years ago, my role transitioned to now I'm a regional contractor sales leader. So we have a team that today the team's grown since I've been there, but today now we have 2 national people and we have 6 regional people. My role, I go from Southern Virginia up through Maine and out west to Michigan. So that, I guess we call it the North area, but it's 3 different regions of it's the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, and Great Lakes for our company. There's 3 different regions, regional managers, and then we have basically 34 salespeople, area sales managers in those territories. So I work with those folks, but my whole role is trying to connect with our contractors and figure out how we can add more support. And my focus is all just on the contractor.
Nice. So, it's great to be able to see that the team has grown, and now you're in that relationship with various contractors, and I guess just give us some insights on how you develop those relationships and how you forge those strategic partnerships.
So for me, my role is interesting. That like I said, I have a kind of a big area that I cover. We really feel like the way we grow our business is on a case by case basis. We've got really big contractors in that area. We've got medium, and obviously we've got small. We've got up and coming. The industry's changing, so we can even talk about that a little bit. But really, I guess I focus either on our bigger contractors what do they need to just keep doing what they're doing? Um, maybe, a segment we call emerging contractors, but maybe that's the guys that are doing really well. And we see, with a little bit more, help or growth can take that next step. And so what do they need to help them get there? And, I work with them and the ASMs and try to identify, how we can help them get to the next step. That's a big part of what I do. I also work with our salespeople and help them try to, I travel around for 2-3 days, with them in a given market, and I help their career development as well. So I mean, I'd kind of say that's kind of what my day-to-day life looks like.
All right. And you spoke on it, and I wanted to see if we can get into it, but those trends, what are you seeing?
Well, I mean, on that level, I mean, our industry right now is changing dramatically. I think HVAC has already gone through this, and now roofing is kind of going through there, but we're seeing a lot of consolidation. And I'd say we're still kind of on the early side of that. So that's interesting. But basically, there's a few different things that are happening. I mean, we've got solar that's impacting. In our traditional roofing side, it's split between, I would say, residential re-roof, or insurance-based storm claim kind of work. So we have sometimes contractors, sometimes they do both, sometimes they specialize and just do one. There's franchises that are popping up. And now there's private equity, where that's what I was talking about with the consolidation, where they're starting to enter into the space and they see what a great industry roofing is, and they are impacting our industry. I mean, slowly, they're some of our best contractors are being approached by private equity, so that is certainly impacting our industry as well.
Right. So we have a variety of different things impacting the industry, and I guess what are just some tips, or what are your thoughts on where you think how you think things will maybe eventually end up, or just as a contractor, how do you navigate those waters currently in today's market?
Well, I think the best advice is to not necessarily. I mean, everybody if you have a clear end game, then that helps you know where you're trying to go. I mean, sometimes it's, hey, I want to be able to set up a legacy for my kids. You know what I mean, or whatever. I have a 5-year program where I want to get out in 5 years. I mean, everybody's at a different point, so I think it helps to know where you're at and if you have some clear goals that can help you work toward them. Depending on what those goals are, we might be able to give you advice to help you meet them. But aside from that, I mean, I think it's good business practices just to continue to build the best business you can, and that way you're in the best position regardless of, that point you kind of control the direction of what you want to do with it. So I think it's almost not a bad idea to like say, okay, hey, maybe I would want to get sold, and maybe what things do I need to do, and then start working toward that. In the end, that probably just makes you a better business.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying you need to go out and actually sell your company, because a lot of times that may not be the best thing. But just going through that procedure sometimes actually does kind of help people refocus and shift and figure out what they need to do to make them a better run company.
Yeah, and I think that's those thoughts are valuable to be able to keep in mind, whether you decide to go that route, or whether you don't decide to go that route. But everyone's looking for strategic growth, right? Being able to kind of either maintain what they have or take things to the next level. So it's always an iteration of what that looks like, and it's ever evolving and changing, and being able to have that top of mind is crucially important for being able to move things forward.
Without a doubt. And that gets to, like, there's a lot of things that could get in there. I mean, I think everybody's different, right? So, you got people that were born and grown they were born into the trade, and then you have the other end of the spectrum, the people that are really good, savvy business people or marketing people that aren't necessarily, roofers by trade, but they know how to run the business side of it. So then they need to surround themselves with experts. So you got all of that. You got small companies that maybe like being small because they don't want a lot of overhead, and they want to be able to control it a little bit more, or then you get more growth minded companies. Obviously, as you add more employees and you try to expand, you want to kind of make sure you have your core principles, your mission statement, and you know what you're trying to, work for and towards. And I think when you have a good mission statement, it helps to then create a good culture. And really that's what I mean. One of the hardest things I see one of the biggest challenges for contractors is finding good people. And certainly when you have good people, you need to make sure you've got a great culture, where you can develop, help them develop and the invest in your people so that the end result is better for the company, and you'll have better retention with your employees and better growth, um, over time.
Mhm. And you brought up really good points where investing in your people, being able to have that growth, and really being able to find really good talent, which we know everybody's looking for talent, and you're trying to be able to get people that want to be a part of your organization, your roofing business, but you also want to be able to kind of take the time to really train those individuals right. Sometimes people just want to throw a body in there just to have a body to be able to get something done, but if you want to be able to develop that person and to be an intricate part of your business, you need to be able to develop their skill set, and to be able to kind of help them come along.
Without a doubt. I mean, you need to be able to develop them. You need to invest in them. That's one of the biggest things our contractors do want from us, and I think OC does a great job of being a true partner and giving them the training that they need. So our area salesmen will go in and they'll work and do whatever hour and a half, 2 hour trainings. We have OC craft events where we talk about, we'll actually do more install related things. We'll do plant tours quite frequently. We'll take our contractors, um, their teams, so they can go into our plants and see how the product's made. We have 14 plants across the country, so that's, we usually have one that's not too far from where our contractors are. We actually, as for Owens Corning, one of the ways we're able to partner, and this is an area that I do touch on, in my role as well, but like I think we had probably close to 200 speaking events last year where we'll have live speakers, and typically we'll do them in the slower times of the year. So it's usually Q1 and Q4 where we're a little heavier with these speakers, but we'll have there's different parts of the company, where we can add training to, depending on what their needs are. But we'll have, some of them are world-class speakers that can really add a lot of great knowledge. And then they even allow them to get more, because there's only so much you can learn in a 1 or 2 day course. A lot of them will also offer different additional training beyond that. That if they choose to, they can get that. So we have that. We have something called OC University. So we actually have this online portal where we actually have Distributor Academy too. So they're two different ones depending on who the audience is. But we have ones for our contractors and ones for our suppliers, our distributors, but both are able to go on at their own pace. Or if, say, a sales manager just hired new salespeople, he could, as part of their onboarding, he could assign courses, and we have a whole curriculum of, there's actually, I mean, at this point, we might be at, I think we might even be close to 1,000. I mean, there's hundreds of courses that they can actually take. So there's a lot of content that they can actually, go get, both OC specific or just industry specific. We've got previous taped content that they can watch if they want. So there's a lot of ways we're able to help be a good partner and give them, education or training, or connect them with the right speakers. We have probably now, I think we're probably close to 40 different third-party business partners. So, as again, everything's a one-by-one conversation. There's not a one-size-fits-all, but as we talk to customers, if they need financing, we've got finance partner. If they need, if they need a CRM to get their company or more better organized, or they're earlier on, we have partners that we deal with there. If they need sales training, or management training, on how to run their people and their culture, and we have different people for that. For insurance, we have speakers that can speak to Xactimate, or speak to what you look on an insurance claim. So I'm throwing a lot out there, but I guess what I'm saying is that we have a lot of resources at our disposal. So it's really just about having good conversations, and it's an ongoing conversation, but having good conversations with our customers and trying to understand what they need, and then trying to figure out, okay, what do we have in our disposal that might be able to help them.
And I think that's so critically important to be able to have those resources available, to be able to really provide them with what they need, because no two businesses are alike. What one might excel in or might feel comfortable with in a particular area, another one might, need help, need more assistance, need to be pointed in the right direction. So, being able to have that information available and to be able to kind of come in, have that portal, have those speakers be available, and those third party partners is going to be vitally crucial to be able to expand their knowledge, their education, but in the areas that they need help in, that'll help build the business up too as well, because it's no one solution for everything, right? It's all, each one is almost kind of like their own, its own department of the success to be able to run the business, to allow you to be able to do different things to grow the business. Is very various aspects, and there's various people involved too. So maybe, this training may not be something that you're particularly going to do yourself, but you may have a member of your team that, like, look, I really need this particular training, I really need this information to get to my team members so that they can be successful. And if they're successful, they can allow me to be successful as well.
Without a doubt. And a lot of times, like, I mean, I feel really fortunate, because like I really, all the companies I mentioned, I think they've all been really great companies. And I think OC has some exceptional people. So when I like just about everybody at my company, I'm friends with everybody I seem to meet. So I have a lot of resources that I can go to help solve problems and figure out what our customers need. But at the same point, sometimes we learn through our customers. So sometimes it's just having those conversations, and we learn about what their struggles are. And then we're like, okay, so it gives us the ability to go kind of look and see, even if we don't have a current solution for that problem now, that's how we grow together. So, it's definitely both sides of that equation for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a two-sided street in that equation. When those two sides align, it just is perfectly. It makes perfect sense for both sides to be able to continue to develop that relationship and continue their development and growth together.
And in our industry specifically, I mean, it's probably more like a three-sided equation, because, well, no, I mean, I don't know how it is in every other industry, but with ours, distribution is also a critical partner. So, it's the contractor who's installing the product, but they need good distribution partners, who understand, their needs on and how to get materials to the job site effectively. And they sometimes, they're the ones that are helping them find, when we're talking about labor, sometimes distribution is able to help them find local subcontractors that they can use. And then obviously having the manufacturer partner, that is integral in that whole process as well. I mean, I think you need all three to really, so if you have any contractors out there that are kind of just getting into the industry, it's definitely critical that you got those relationships on both sides.
Yeah, definitely a three-way street in that regard. Uh, n- having that three-way street allows each area to be able to be successful and actually give value and have provide value to one another. As you said, maybe the distributors that are helping out with talent and, be able to be able to point them in the right direction where they can find those resources because, not everyone has all the answers to where they're going to get specific things or they address their specific needs. It's a lot of times it's outside of your organization where you get that good information, you get pointed in the right direction, and it's one less thing off your plate that you have to go ahead and worry about because you have these partners that are going to want to see you succeed.
Yeah, I mean, we're like I said, we're both vested in trying to give as much support as we can because that's where we're going to grow. Our customers are built one contractor at a time, and I'm sure distribution would say the same thing. That it's the contractors that are out there speaking to the homeowners, and we want to make sure they're representing the brands they use well. They're getting the best practices and trade, so they're doing quality work, and have good processes in place, so that can allow them that growth that they need.
hmm And being able to allow them to have that growth and to be able to support them is like you said, it's built one contractor at a time and it's built one relationship at a time too as well. Being able to foster that constant line of communication, so as they grow, you're able to grow, and being able to facilitate the growth, the open line of communication, but really, like what we just talked about, being able to provide them with the tools that they need, and also not only the tools, but being able to set them up for success throughout the whole process. Right? I think a lot of times, some people get into a relationship. You may start the relationship, and then sometimes the relationship kind of fizzles or it fades out, but relationships, good relationships, right? They constantly evolve and they grow over time, because the relationship is a two-way street or a three-way street in this case, right? With constant lines of communication and being able to know that the person that you're talking to is able to be dependable and relied on too as well.
Sure. And I think again, there's so many different kinds of companies out there and kind of owners, but even starting from the smallest or somebody that's just entering the industry, I mean, it's really just about being really good about your profession and caring about the work you do, doing quality work, hiring like-minded people that are going to represent you and your goals and your customer. They're going to explain that, be able to convey that to your customers. If you got that as your core, that's what you want to start with, and then just kind of build out from there. I mean, maybe you need help in branding or marketing, or maybe how do I get leads, or how do I build my production side, whatever. I mean, and depending on what it is, like I said, maybe it's distribution, maybe it's manufacturing. We can all help in that. But I mean, I think when you have that core part where you have a real clear vision of what you're trying to do, and you don't sacrifice quality, and you put good people around you, that's the foundation. And then just from there, it's just what different as you grow, you're just looking at the company and seeing what areas of the company you need, you have the biggest areas for need, and then we try to work on that. And when we improve that, we go to the next area of the company.
Yeah, so that's so true. And really, it starts, before you even get to the customer. It starts internally, right? With inside of your own team. And I know you had mentioned going out with some of your other team members, but tell us, if you can, about the experiences and the insights that you've been able to give them to be able to help them along in their career too, as well, coming in to Owens Corning.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest things I do is work with my team members. I mean, my position, I travel a lot because I have such a big area. I mean, most weeks I'm out in the market. I would say maybe 3 days a week at a minimum. Almost every week. But I'm traveling around with them, and again, we're having real conversations with contractors. Now, luckily, it's a fun job, so we do a lot of entertaining, so that makes it a little easier, but still we have real conversations. We try to understand, we try to ask, I try to teach um, my salespeople our salespeople to, ask good questions and listen and try to understand what it is that's important to our customers. And, and then from there, not just try to be us going in, trying to just, you know, do the same thing for every company. I mean, really just try to understand what it is that they need and then try to figure out how we can be a good partner. I mean, that's really where I think we do a really good job. And, um, for us, one of our challenges is we have a really good brand, and we have a lot of people that want to be in our contractor network, and we have different levels in our network, but we have to try to manage that appropriately. We don't want to dilute it. So, that's probably a tough challenge for us as well, is trying to, you know, we want all of our contractors to get to those levels, but we know we can't for everybody. But we are, our brand is pretty popular. We have some interesting features that distinguish our product from other products. So, it's a matter of just trying to help everybody, give everybody the same opportunities, and hopefully, we all grow together.
Yes, no, that's good. Being able to have that opportunity to grow together, and to be able to provide uh your team with how can we provide value, right? Uh, you kind of touched on it where not every contractor is the same, right? Some needs are going to be different than others, but at the same time everybody may not grow at the same pace, right? So it's people are going to grow and at their different various levels of time, but being able to realize that, hey, look, this person's needs is different than the person's needs over here. So you may tailor your talking points of your communication style, your different things. And by just doing those little things, it really helps the relationship, it helps the dynamic to be able to grow, because you're not just looking at, I think so often people get so one-sided and figuring, all the blocks can fit in the peg right here, instead of realizing that, hey, all blocks come in different sizes and shapes, and so sometimes we have to kind of, tell her to be able to make it fit, right?
Without a doubt. And it's one thing that's great about our industry is, like, you don't have to be a college, you don't have to have a college degree.
Mhm.
You don't, you could be down on your luck. I mean, there's people in our industry that come from all walks of life. But there is actually a pretty constant, which is, if you're a good person and you work hard and you really want to work at your trade, you could literally go from, pretty much, you know, a point where you're down in the spot, and if you really really apply yourself in a really short time, you could totally impact and totally change your life. I mean, I'm not even kidding when I tell you I know people that were homeless and now are millionaires. And to their credit, they wanted to change their life. And the industry is great in that, if you want to go out and you want to work hard, there's different sides of it, production, sales, and stuff like that. But I mean, again, if you just work at your trade, you treat people right, you do the right things. There's one thing that's nice about our industry is that roofing is a need. People need roofs for their home, and that there's a pretty good supply out there. So, if you do it the right way, you can grow your business and you can be successful.
Mhm. Yep, and I think you touched on, doing it the right way, right? A lot of times people try to shortcut things, and they try to. Sometimes you want to get to the spot where you're at, and it may be your 5-year goal, and it's, hey, I'm trying to rush this, but it's a process to be able to get there. It's the steps. Steps is, I always call it a journey, right? That you're going to take, but vitally along the way, the relationships that you build and the skill set that you are going to be able to develop over time is only going to get better. So, at being able to be willing to kind of soak in that information like a sponge to be able to allow yourself to get more education, have more tools and resources at your disposal will be able to help you not only personally, but professionally too, as well, to be able to grow. And that's so vitally important because the people that get that and that implement those different things, drastically, dramatically can change their life around. So, like you said, you just mentioned, someone being homeless. So it doesn't matter what position that you're currently in. Like you always have the opportunity to go total opposite and go in a really satisfying direction where you're able to provide, real value for homeowners, the people that need it. And you're actually able to support your family and to be able to support your team that works with you too as well. And then all around, you just have that really satisfying feeling of being able to know that you made a change and you made a difference.
And for us, it's all about trying to partner with the right companies and the right people. I mean, yeah, we're paid to basically, we're a publicly traded company, so our shareholders want us out there growing, selling more shingles. They like when those pink bundles are going out the door. But for us, it's not all about. I mean, it's more about relationships and trying to get the right people that are going to represent us well and do good work. I mean, the industry has both sides of the equation, right? Like, we want to try to find the ones that are doing it the right way, and those are the ones that we want to try to partner with. But they're it's interesting too, because there's other side of the industry, which is, even in the last 5 years, I mean, I'm seeing a big difference, and you're getting much more professional people in the industry. And I have companies. I was with somebody yesterday that they train. They have a sales team, that trains 3 days a week, for at least 2 hours a day. We've got companies that just do a lot of great things. I was with another company yesterday, in Indianapolis. That's their core mission is they're giving back. So, like, they have actually a pretty good amount of what they do goes back to supporting really worthwhile charities and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of great things that, when you think about roofing, you don't necessarily, it's not, like, I don't know a lot of kids that when they're younger, they're like, I want to grow up and be like, everyone wants to be a school teacher and policeman, and those are awesome trades. I don't know tons of people that, I want to be a roofer. But I can tell you, being in the industry now for as long as I have, I mean, it really is a great industry, and I've been fortunate to be, able to work with a lot of great people. So that's one thing that's awesome about my job, is every day I meet new people. So it's great.
No, that's excellent. That's excellent. And being able to have those interactions with people over the years, really gives you some good insights, a good to be able to keep a good pulse on things. But the relationships that you build, through customers, through internally at Owens Corning is I know is vital for not only for personal development, but career development too as well, because you can always learn something. You always take I always say you always take a jewel or a really valuable piece of a nugget, gold nugget, from other people, from their experiences, from their journey, and you're able to kind of use that sometime, or is able to kind of give you insights when you're talking with someone else, and you say, "Oh, I can relate now because I've been able to develop a relationship with this person over here, and it's able to kind of help help the next person along."
I mean, we do it as people. I mean, I like to think I'm hopefully the best of my parents and my sister, my friends. Little things that I learned. But then you go to then now I've been in the industry for 25 years. I hopefully, if I'm smart, which I'm not always, but if I more times than not, hopefully I'm looking and I'm seeing really good things, from people all around me, and I try to find out how I can, pick up little things along the way, and it's what we all do, right? Like, we learn from each other. So, yeah, it's a great. I mean, it's you think you're an owner of a company, and yeah, you have all the risk, but you do have a lot of resources around you that can help you. It's just a matter of trying to build those relationships. So then, there are a lot of resources out there that can help you.
Yes, yes, indeed. Take advantage of those resources. Keep developing those relationships, and it'll be able to kind of support continued growth. It'll not only personally affect you in a really good way, but it'll trickle down to your family, to your friends, to the ones that you work with too as well. And you'll find that you'll have a better quality of life that way.
Sure, for sure. I mean, no, I totally agree. I'm laughing. There was a little hesitation there because I'm like, I'm sure there's ways I can be doing better too. And I was thinking my wife's probably like, she's probably like, yeah, you could probably improve a little. We all, but it is a great industry, and like I said, I've been very fortunate to be around really good people. So look forward to continuing to try to just get to understand our customers better, understand them. Like right now, next week we have our platinum conference, so that's our top level tier of contractors, and we'll be spending time with them. And the whole point of that is to allow them to network with other contractors. To your point that you were just making a couple minutes ago, I mean, we all learn from each other, and sometimes allowing them to talk to other contractors in non-competing markets, and maybe they pick up something that that they hadn't thought of. So it's just a great time for that, and just to see people we haven't seen in a little while, and good friends, kind of see how they're doing, and it's a really cool part to be part of this industry.
Excellent. Scott, thanks so much. We appreciate your time and your valuable insights. We are appreciative for the work that you've been able to do, Owens Corning, being able to support continued growth of contractors, relationships with distributors, and we definitely look forward to seeing you at some events this year.
I'm great. I'll trust me. I'll be out there. So please come hunt me down if you see me. So thank you very much, David. Really nice talking with you and your audience. And again, we'll have to go get a cheesesteak sometime since you're in the area.
Oh yes, most definitely.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Blueprint Boost for Contractors. We hope you found today's insights and strategies valuable for your contracting business. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and please leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring content that truly matters.